Now, for the first time since the late 1990s, Kenya's annual budget-making process is taking place within the context of conditions imposed by the International Monetary Fund following disbursement of financial aid to the country. Pundits hold that the 2021-2022 budget promises to be a unique one, as it presents minimal wiggle room for the government to either trim expenditure as prescribed in the fiscal consolidation agenda or raise revenue targets given the subdued economic activity. Julian Amboko now kicks off our budget coverage with a look at what the IMF conditions mean for the taxpayer.
On Thursday this week, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani is expected to table a 3.7 trillion shilling spending plan on the floor of the House. One unique aspect about the present budget cycle is that for the first time in decades, it is taking place within the context of IMF conditions. Just how significantly do these conditions impact the budget cycle?
I started seeing these conditions in 1992 when the VAT was introduced in Kenya. And we kept on borrowing, and that's how VAT was introduced in Kenya. So this is not a new thing. I think IMF, what they are doing, they are behaving like, they're behaving like receiver managers, in the sense that they are coming to make sure the economy is running. And it's a good thing. We only need to have accountability in government.
The IMF staff appraisal states that they think the Kenya government has a very high, more optimistic about revenue numbers, growth numbers, and recovery. The Treasury specifically has had a bad record of forecasting, a poor record of forecasting revenues that come about, which obviously triggers even bigger deficits. But I think I think there's a continuation of this.
In late 2020, Kenya sought and successfully secured debt relief at least for 6 months to June 2021 under the DSSI framework. We are made to understand this has since been extended to December 2021. Just how much of a difference does it make in terms of Kenya's budget balance?
Without those, there's no way government will balance its books, because otherwise what you have to do is to make very sharp cuts, and those sharp cuts would be extremely generate a lot of second-order effects that would actually harm economic growth.
It is upon us to be prudent in our spending, meaning we need to look at where the loopholes that are there in the economy and try and seal them. Otherwise, we will continue having these conditions by IMF. There is little room for the CS and Treasury to play around in terms of collecting more taxes from Kenyans.
Looking ahead into Thursday this week, the job for the Treasury and the National Assembly is cut out. 3.7 trillion shillings in projected expenditure, 2 trillion shillings in projected revenue, leaving a deficit of up to about 1 trillion shillings. Just how will the books balance? Julian Amboko, NTV.